Children, to the next part of your physics lesson. Today we are going to start the chapter density. Well, this is a chapter that you have already read in class 7. So, I'll be going in details that is necessary for you in class 8. Remember children, this is very important chapter because this chapter is going to be there in class 9, 10. So, you are not allowed to forget anything. I hope you won't do that, isn't it? Well, let's get started with this chapter. So you can see these rows of buildings over here, they look crowded now, but what about this? Is this dense or the other picture? Yes, now you understand why I wrote the less dense and the highly dense. Well, this is the basic thing that you know about density. Let us talk about the definition of density. The definition of density says density of a substance is defined as mass per unit volume of that substance. And this density is represented by the symbol rho. Rho is a symbol used to represent density, which is equal to, mathematically we write is mass by volume. SI unit of density, the mass SI unit is kg and for volume it's meter cube. So the SI unit of density will be kg per meter cube. Kg per meter cube because it is divided. Now what about the CGS unit of mass? It's gram, yes. For volume it's centimeter cube. So what will be the CGS unit of density? CGS unit of density will be gram per centimeter cube. Between kg per meter cube and gram per centimeter cube, children will be learning the index method instead of the method that is given in your book, which is in the expanded form. I expect all of you in class 8 know the index form. Now when you convert this 1 gram into kg, it will be 1 by 1000 kg. Now children, you can write this 1 by 1000 as 10 to the power minus 3 kg, isn't it? Now, what about volume? Here 1 centimeter is equal to 10 to the power minus 2 meter. So, if you are cubing both the sides, you will get 10 to the power minus 6 meter cube. So, now you got the mass in kg, you got the volume in meter cube. Now what? Now, as per the formula, density is equal to mass by volume. So, we get 10 to the power minus 3 divided by 10 to the power minus 6, which will be equal to 10 to the power minus 3 plus 6, that gives us 10 to the power 3 kilogram per meter cube. So, children, you see, when we did this in the index form, the number could be done very fast. But now, see in the expanded form, here the number looks so clumsy, so big. So that makes it more confusing. So if you go for this method, yes, you will get the same answer, but you can see the amount of work or the amount of statement that you have to write when you write in expanded form. And see, we got the same answer. 1000 means 10 to the power 3. So we got the same. So I would request you all to prefer the index method of calculation rather than calculating with this expanded form. That would really give you answers very fast and more accurate. Well, coming to the next part, you can see here how to use this. Say if you are given the density of mercury in CGS system as 13.6 gram per centimeter cube, and you are asked to convert this density in SI unit. You have to simply remember the relationship 1 gram per centimeter cube is 1000 kg per meter cube. So multiply 1000 to the CGS unit and you get the answer in SI unit. So children, isn't it very simple? Have you ever thought, why does an iron nail float on mercury and sink in water? I suppose after reading about density, you can answer it now. You can see the picture shows the nail or an iron material floating on the mercury. And about water, you know it, that it sinks in water. So what's the reason behind it? Let's find out. The reason is the density of mercury is more than the density of water. So if the fluid's density is more, it will not allow the solid to sink in it. So when an object sinks in a liquid or a fluid, it says that the density of that solid is more than that of the liquid. So I have come up with a question for you. This for you to think about. Have you seen this? Yes, it is water and oil poured over it. What will happen to the oil? Will it sink? No, it will float. So can you tell me, why does this oil float on water? Think about, we talked about it just in the previous slide. I know you all can answer this. Do send me your answers. So before going ahead about density in detail, let us talk about why do we need to know the density of objects? What is the purpose behind it? Children, you must have seen flyovers and bridges and many other constructions all around you. So while designing these bridges or flyovers and structures, the density of the materials are checked through the tables. Now, the drawing helps to calculate the volume of any part of the structure. So they draw it and they assume the volume of the part of the structure. They find out the density of the material and accordingly they calculate the mass of material required. So the product of volume and the density gives you the mass of object that is required. Here I have another picture of a bridge, a flyover and many more constructions which need the knowledge of density of the materials to be used. Here I have come up with a list of density of different solids and liquids. You can go through this. Isn't it looking very colorful? Yes, it is. Now what is this? It is different liquids poured into a same container. The peculiar thing about the liquids that are being poured here is they all have different densities. So what happened when they were poured in was, the one with the maximum density went down, the one with the least density stayed on the top. So you can see the lamp oil on the top and the honey at the bottom. So you know the density of honey is maximum and that of the lamp oil is minimum compared to the liquids that are being used over here. So you can even see on the right hand side there are a list of some solids that are dipped into it, and the same reason states over here for the solids being on the top or at the bottom. So when solids, even when are placed in liquids, it will float in a liquid whose density is lower than the liquid's density, and it will sink if its density is more than that liquid. So why did I come up with this liquid? This is for you all to try out this experiment. So I want you all to collect as many liquid as you can. You may collect only 2 or 3, whichever is easily available at home. It is more and whose is less. Children, this is not a compulsory assignment. It is just for you to understand the concept of density and how things float and sink. Try out if you can. No hassle, no compulsion like you have to do this. If you can, do it. If you cannot, no problem. I have brought the diagram for you. The picture shows actually how things would look. Now coming up to the effect of density on different states of matter. Solid, you can see the particles are very close by, and so we call it more dense. In liquids, the gap between the particles is more, so they are less dense, and gases, you can see the gaps, so they are having the least density. So solid maximum, next comes the liquid, and the density of the gas is the minimum. Let us talk about how to determine the density of different solids. We need to know the density, very true, but how do we find the density? The formula we know, but if the solid is a regular solid, there is no problem. You just get the formulas for the volume according to the shape they have. If you can see here, I have a list of volumes of different solid. Volume of a cuboid is given as length into breadth into height. Volume of a cube is given as side into side into side, because children, you must be knowing cube has all sides equal. So the length and the breadth and the heights are equal. Volume of a sphere is given as 4 by 3 pi r cube. The volume of sphere is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube. Now here the pi is equal to a value which is equal to 22 by 7, or it is also taken as 3.14. You will be learning about more in detail in your maths classes. And the r over here stands for radius. Radius of the sphere. You know, a sphere, circular like your ball and other things. Now coming to next is the volume of cylinder. Even the volume of cylinder, is equal to pi r square h. Here again the r stands for the radius of the circular part of the cylinder. So this radius we are talking about, and the h stands for the height of the cylinder. So r is the radius of the cylinder and the height of the cylinder is h, and we get the volume of the cylinder. Now what for the irregular solids? How do we find the density of irregular solids? Because they don't have any shape. To find their volume is difficult. To find the density of an irregular solid, we are going to use an Eureka can. You can see this is a Eureka can. It has a spout over here. Now water is filled till this portion, and we have a measuring cylinder, and the formula using which we will be doing this determination of the volume of irregular solid will be volume of the displaced water is equal to volume of the solid immersed in the water. So whatever is the water displaced by this solid will be the volume of this solid. Let us talk about in detail. As you can see in this picture, the man is holding a spring balance, and the spring balance is tied to a irregular solid. Water in the Eureka can is filled till the spout. Now you can see just near the spout there is an empty beaker kept. What we are going to do is next is we'll pour or dip the solid into this water. As soon as the solid will be dipped inside the water rises up. So the water when rises up, it has a way to come out, that is like this. The water get displaced and get collected into the beaker over there. Now this beaker collects all the displaced water. When this displaced water is then put into a measuring cylinder, like say if this is the measuring cylinder and the water displaced is poured into it, so we can measure the amount of water displayed, that is the volume of liquids are found using these measuring cylinders. So we can easily find out the volume of liquid displaced, and we know that the volume of liquid displaced is actually equal to the volume of the solid immersed inside it. So we get the volume of the solid immersed inside it. Isn't it very easy, children? To find the volume of an irregular solid, you don't need to remember any formulae. You only need to conduct this experiment, isn't it? Well, for volume of liquids also we talked about. For volume of liquids, the measuring cylinders always help us. You can pour the liquids into the measuring cylinder and find the volume of those liquids. So this is all about density. I shall be talking about the next part of this chapter, that is relative density, floating and sinking and hydrometer, in my next video. So I hope you understood density. Please understand the concepts given there, and if you have time or you can arrange the fluids, do try to do the experiment that I said. Okay, bye bye.